That's always so jarring.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, we have a good many people online. Jake, I'm going to pass it to you to get started. And Barry, he will let you know when it's your turn, okay?
All right, give me the cue.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rebuild Upstate's annual Impact Call. I'm Jake Beatty, the CEO and Executive Director of Rebuild Upstate. If I haven't met you, I'm very grateful that you're here this morning because your presence demonstrates your commitment to home repair and also to our organization. This morning, we will give you an executive level update of our 2024 impact. And our goal today is for you to better understand how your donations, volunteerism, and advocacy made a difference last year and helped us grow. We're also going to share what's to come in the year ahead, including some of the most critical opportunities to help us strengthen our organization. So here's the rundown on what you can expect this morning. We're going to have a missions moment in just a few minutes with one of our amazing volunteers and supporters, Barry Ballou. Then Rosie Davis and I will share key accomplishments and goals for our operations, programs, and partners, showcasing the good news and notable metrics from last year. And after that, we're going to open up Q&A, and that's going to be available to everybody before we wrap up if you have a question. And so if you want to ask a question during the call, you can put that in the chat box to everyone, or you can message it to the host that's titled Rebuild Upstate, or Andy, who's on the call privately, and he can ask it on your behalf at the end. And just so you know, in addition to our call recording, we're also going to share an executive summary of our content and the slides with you later today. And after the call, you can expect to receive a 2-part survey to get some of your feedback on how we did. The first part is just evaluating this call, and then the second part is optional, but it will also offer an opportunity to explore your interest in any of our programs or needs. So again, thank you all for being here as people are jumping on the call. You're the reason we can celebrate these program wins and our growth plans. So now I'd like to introduce a very special guest joining us this morning to share our missions moment with you. Barry Ballou is a local business owner, community leader, and Rebuild Upstate volunteer. And he's joining us today from a work site in Kentucky where he's currently completing disaster relief for neighbors in need with a team of volunteers from Pennsylvania, Missouri, and South Carolina through the Christian Appalachian Project. Barry is the owner of B&R Machining and Precision Specialty Products. And when he's not working, he's usually volunteering to help a homeowner live safely again. He actually started volunteering with Rebuild Upstate about 2 years ago and has led several build days with his employees and other volunteers. And so today he's going to share a little bit about his experience. So Barry, I'll let you take it from here.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Do I have video at this point?
Yes.
Can you all see me? Okay, great. Well, I'm actually sitting in my truck. I've drove to 3 spots this morning to find enough signal, so I hope I don't drop out on you. We're up in Kentucky working, as Jake just said, and got a great team up here. There's been a lot of flooding, and my heart is always with helping people, whether it's right there in the upstate or in Kentucky or wherever the Lord sends me. So, my experience started with Rebuild Upstate a couple of years ago, and I just have to say that, I have several companies there. We've been in business 28 and 22 years, respectively. And, I'm all about team building. A lot of my employees have been with me for many years, and it's not because we're a huge workshop or we have means and benefits. It's because of the relationships that we build with our employees. And so we're a community-oriented company. Both companies are very community-driven. So when we go to a Rebuild Upstate site, I'd like to first say that the staff there at Rebuild and the crew leaders are so great to work with. We get to the job site, it's organized. They have drawings for us. They have all the material there. So I always like organization because that allows you to be efficient and get things done. And that's that's really a big highlight I wanted to speak about as far as the staff at Rebuild. Nick and Rose and Natalie, Jake, all the folks that really put the things together behind the scenes to make Rebuild work. So I hate to waste time. I do. It drives me crazy. So that's Rebuild is one of our favorite community outreach projects that we do. Just a little side story. We also do a Meals on Wheels route at my shop every Friday. And 2 weeks ago, it was my Friday to run the route. And I pulled up to one of my participants to deliver meals, and there was a Rebuild Upstate trailer. And this home was in need. And so I gave the lady her meal, and I said, "Hey, so you're working with Rebuild?" And she just started to praise the staff and everything they were doing in her kitchen, and how the floors were not good, and they'd already fixed the floors and made them safe. And so after she gave me this good report of Rebuild, I said, "Well, that's great, because I volunteer with Rebuild, so it's good to hear the story." And to see Rebuild working right there in my community where I also deliver meals, that it really is a big thing for me, because there is need in our communities. And through Rebuild, my company gets to, we go to these job sites, and I get to interact with my employees outside of the workplace. And so that is team building. And so when we go back into our shops on Monday, we've got a better team oriented driven workplace, because it's different working in your shop or wherever you work and then going outside of that shop. And so that has been a big plus for me, is the team building that we get to do with my employees. But not only that, my church, we're also very involved in outreach. And so a lot of the members of my team, when we do a project, I get to interact with my youth from my church. We just recently did a 84-foot ramp, and I'll get on my soapbox and say that holds the record for the largest ramp built in one day. Yay, yay, yay. And so I'm really, I got to see my youth in action. You see those guys run a hole auger. That can be funny. And also, not only that, but from a work standpoint, I get also the tax benefits of getting a write-off from Rebuild. And if you're running a business, you really want those tax write-offs wherever you can get them, and especially if you can do it and help your community. So as a nuts and bolts team, as they refer to us at Rebuild, is where not only do we provide the volunteers, but we also provide the funding. And what that does for Rebuild is, a lot of times if somebody needs a handicap ramp, they need that ramp quickly. But if they're trying to get funding, there can be a lot of red tape. We're seeing it up here with FEMA and the floods and the homeowners and their frustration with trying to just cut through red tape. So if you become a nuts and bolts team, you kind of help Rebuild cut through that red tape, and we can give the homeowner the repairs, be it a ramp or be it a kitchen or be it a walk-in shower or grab rails, whatever that might be. A lot of times, strokes and those things all of a sudden happen to people, especially our older community people. And then at that point, they need something done quickly. And so a nuts and bolts team allows Rebuild to respond quickly and get the homeowner. That's what it's all about, is to get the homeowner what they need. So that has been a big plus for us, to get a tax write-off from the business standpoint, build team building with our employees, and interacting outside the workplace. All those things are a very big positive from the business side. But on the personal side, I'll touch on that, is that you can also, my family, my son and my daughter, they usually are there with me. I had 4 of my grandkids on the job site working with me. They learn new skills, they get to interact, but more importantly, they get to see us as members of the community helping other people. And I think that's very important. I spent 24 years as a scoutmaster, so I spent a lot of years teaching young men. I ran a venture crew for 6 years, teaching young men and young women, and they need these type of role models in these type of examples to see. So when I see my grandkids boring holes and putting screws in and carrying boards, that's powerful to me, you know. So that is a very, very positive impact that I see from my family side, is I get to spend time with my family, and I also get to be an example to my grandkids and my kids and other young people, such as our church youth. And that allows them to see a model of what they should do as they become adults and get older. So that is really, it's so powerful. So workplace is great, personal is great, but more importantly, you know, we're helping community members. And in a lot of cases, these people, they don't have the physical ability, they don't have the finances, they just don't have the resources to make their homes safer. And that's where Rebuild comes in and, you know, puts all this together. They go out, they make the assessments, and they put it all together. And it's just amazing to me. So my experience with Rebuild has been great. They're going to have to put up with me for years to come. So, Jake, Rosie, you're just going to have to put up with me. That's all I can tell you. So, you know, I guess if I could just sum it all up in one brief statement, I don't know, if you choose to support Rebuild Upstate, I guess through volunteering and or funding, it will return much more back to you than you could ever imagine. Lives will be changed for the better, not only for the homeowner, but also for everyone that gets involved in lending a helping hand to their neighbor through Rebuild Upstate. And it's just, I don't know how to sum it all up, but I guess that's the best way I could say, is that your life will be changed more than you thought. You know, when I first started coming up here to Kentucky, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, my plan driving up this mountain was, I'm going to go up there and change those people's lives for the better. And once I came up here and spent a week and I went home, what I realized is that they changed my life for the better. And that's how Rebuild Upstate is that you think you're going to go do something great for a homeowner, make their home safe, and you're going to help somebody else out. But once you do it, you realize that it made your life better, and it makes you a better person, and it makes you a better example for young people and for your community. So I appreciate the opportunity that Rebuild gave me to speak this morning. And I would just say that jump on board the train. It's a fun ride. So that's pretty much what I have to say. And I appreciate you guys letting me ramble on this morning.
Yeah. Well, Barry, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of your trip to Kentucky, and I hope you guys stay safe on site today. So thank you so much.
Okay, Jake. As you guys know, I'm gonna jump off of here.
Yep.
I've got we're headed to a job site, so I look forward to seeing the transcript, and kind of the warehouse you guys have purchased is awesome. I hope we can continue to get some funding to get some racking in there and get all that on track this year. Congratulations to you guys for the brick and mortar we're finally got our hands on. And so I look forward to supporting you guys throughout the year, and everyone else out there. Have yourself a great and blessed day. And I'm going to put on my muck boots and get in the mud.
Thanks, Barry. Have a good day.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Bye-bye. And continuing on with our call, everyone in attendance today is a valued stakeholder in Rebuild Upstate's mission to keep our upstate neighbors safe in their homes. And as stakeholders, we want to say thank you for your contributions toward the growth and stability we've experienced over this last very exciting year for us. So a few highlights we're going to cover today in this call is including a record number of completed repair projects for our organization in a year, the continued growth of our ramp program, and the purchase of our very first permanent facility, like you just heard Barry mention. So next, let's talk about the wins we saw last year, and as we look forward to the months ahead, how we are continuing to strategically invest in our operations and programs to position Rebuild Upstate for growth and more efficient repair services. In 2024, Rebuild Upstate had a very successful year, and we do not take that for granted. We are extremely grateful for our donors and supporters who actually made that happen. We had a very strong year financially, and we also had an incredible start to year one of our capital campaign. Our main operational update goes along with that today, is that we closed on a warehouse that is currently in use for our programs as we continue to fundraise to outfit it. Both our teams, programs, and engagement implemented new software to help with efficiencies. And we also invested in web updates for our volunteers and homeowners to help them have more information about our programs and their roles. So now we're going to share more about all of these wins and where we're headed in 2025. So first up, I want to show some photos of the warehouse. We closed on this space in mid-2024, and within a few months, we were operational and using it. With this new space, we can scale our operations, respond more swiftly to urgent repair needs, and provide volunteers with the resources they need to succeed. And it is more than just a warehouse. It is a hub for building hope, restoring dignity, and empowering families. And by investing in this facility, we are making a lasting commitment to the future of home repair, ensuring that we can continue serving our community for years to come. We did implement a small capital campaign, the Building on the Foundation campaign. And 6 months into year one of our 3-year campaign, we have already raised 70% of our goal, and we have conversations with supporters in progress. So we're confident we can secure what is needed to make the space the most efficient it can be to benefit our programs. And we are still accepting donations, and we do have naming rights still available for the space. We have already done repairs to the electrical, replaced the HVAC, designed the warehouse, and created storage for treated lumber, along with adding security and signage to the new property. And the scope of work that we would love to fund and complete in the coming months includes adding additional fencing and asphalt repair to the exterior and completing some roof repair, adding shelving and storage to the warehouse area, completing a tool room remodel, adding 2 new offices and remodeling the reception area, and redesigning the bathrooms and the break room area. What you're seeing now are the renderings of what we foresee the fully updated warehouse space to look like, and the layout of how we believe we will best be able to utilize the square footage available. Fundraising and outfitting the warehouse will remain a top priority for our team in 2025, alongside ensuring a strong financial position and pursuing new and diverse funding for our programs. And earlier I mentioned the survey that you should each receive following today's call. And in the optional section, we hope that you will share about any ways that you, your organization, or your church want to help. And if you want to talk about the warehouse, you can indicate that in the survey, and we will absolutely follow up with you. We are excited about the capacity for growth this warehouse will provide. And needless to say, there's a lot happening behind the scenes in 2024 that position us to better serve more of our neighbors in need. And your investments are making our organization stronger. So transitioning into the reason for our existence, our home repair program. It's fair to say that we remain very busy in 2024 with 153 total homes repaired and 702 total repair projects completed, which is an organizational record for us. And these numbers also do not reflect the 15 homes we were able to serve with storm cleanup in the weeks following Hurricane Helene. Our average projects completed per home was 4.6 last year, which is above our historic average of around 3 repairs per home. And using volunteer labor, the average cost to repair one home for us is $10,000, and it usually costs around $2,500 per project. And we consider these a small price to ensure long-term safety and housing for a low-income individual. So next, I want to share with you that we had 2 major milestones for our ramp program in 2024. Our first milestone was that we celebrated the installation of our 1,000th ramp in program history. We've also now helped nearly 2,000 older adults in our history. And we're really proud of that work and being a leader throughout the Upstate in helping low-income older adults age in place. The second milestone I'll share with you is, like Barry mentioned, we installed the longest ramp in organizational history at 84 feet. We'll link a blog post with photos in the summary we share later today And we are grateful to Barry for championing that volunteer day, and the value of volunteer labor actually exceeded the material costs for that day. Helping our older adults age in place in the community that they love has always been a focus of our work, and our ramp program supports that focus. We are very happy to celebrate with you also that our team recently completed a training on installing metal ramps, and we hope to utilize metal ramps more frequently as part of our ramp program moving forward. And this brings me to our biggest program news to share for 2025. And it is that with the implementation of new software systems, a change we've implemented is segmenting our work into 3 distinct programs. Those are aging in place, critical home repairs, and ramps. And our primary driver for these changes is to streamline an applicant's experience with us and to give them more transparency throughout their application process. While we did need to temporarily pause accepting applications for a few months to make these updates, it allowed us to pilot, train staff, and ensure that the current application is the most resilient and efficient it can be. The new universal application is online and open. An applicant can now manage their application and status in a secure portal, get text updates about their application, and upload any needed documentation to that portal. Also, our staff can better match an applicant to the program and or funding opportunity to meet their needs, communicate more frequently with transparency, and better track communications with the homeowner. And so what this change looks like is that we have a new universal application on our website alongside content about each program, and the application is still friendly as well for caseworkers and family members completing on behalf of someone else. And a homeowner only needs to submit one application, and they will be reviewed by our staff for fit for all 3 programs. This will affect our process management, but our outcomes for the work are unchanged. We still want to reduce falls, make homes safer, and help people maintain quality of life. It is also very important to point out that our volunteers won't notice any change to your build experience as experience based on program management changes that we've implemented. These are positive updates to our work for our staff, programs, and applicants, and we welcome you to review the website to learn more about programs or how to make a referral. One thing we had to keep at the forefront of our application process is ensuring what we create is resilient to any changes in our funding. And as we look at our operations for 2025, we are facing some substantial challenges and unknowns. As 2,600 federal programs face cuts, we know it's likely a matter of time until this affects us directly. And please know before I go any further that as we talk about the changes occurring at the national level, neither I nor Rebuild Upstate are attempting to make a political statement, but rather to simply share the ways that these changes are practically affecting our organization specifically. So right now, we manage federal funding directly or through municipal or state agency. We also have private donations from individuals, churches, businesses, philanthropic foundations, and events. And approximately 30% of our annual budget comes from federal dollars. We've listed some of the specific programs we're watching here on this slide. We don't currently receive funds from all the programs listed, but they are programs that benefit home repair programs run by our peers nationwide. And they also represent programs that we've applied to in the past or that we would like the opportunity to apply for in the future. Specifically, CDBG, home, or RSVP funding cuts would be the most devastating for us as an organization. To have these defunded or removed would be catastrophic for low-income families here in the Upstate. If these funds get cut, it will affect our ability to repair homes at the scale we currently are. And being able to navigate a funding change is important for any nonprofit, and we have navigated it before, and we're not strangers to it. The scale of what we're facing right now would be unlike anything that we've known, however. The Whole Home Repairs Act, which is a bipartisan bill proposed earlier this year, is currently in committee, specifically the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. Our own Senator Tim Scott chairs this committee, and we would very much like to see this program become funded. So if you have Senator Scott's ear, or if you'd like an advocacy opportunity, helping make these funds a reality would be a big win for South Carolina. We'd love the chance to meet with either of our senators or state representatives to talk about this program, if that's a connection that you have. At a federal level, this program would be one of the most transformative opportunities we've seen for home repairs in years. In addition to ensuring resiliency in our program management, you'll notice our team giving more energy and focus to pursuing alternative funding opportunities. And Rosie's going to be sharing a little bit more about our strategy and plan impacts for that in a few minutes. And as always, I'm happy to chat more with you offline about our funding model if you have any questions. On the heels of navigating these funding changes, we also got some new data just last month about cost burdens on homeowners. And we'll link the full report titled Rising Cost of Home Ownership Are a Growing Burden, published by Harvard Center for Joint Housing Studies in the executive summary. And I encourage you to read the full report. The graph on this slide is from their full report showing the cost burden increases for older adults. For low-income households, their cost burdens are at an all-time high. And here are some of the notable data points from this report. The Greenville-Anderson metro area has 22% cost burden homeowners with 7.9% as severe, noting that they spend more than 50% of their income on housing costs. There has also been a 3.6 million increase in cost burden individual households since 2019. Homeowners with a mortgage are most affected, as well as older adults. And the lowest income homeowners, incomes under $30,000, saw the highest increase in expenses such as taxes, insurance, and home maintenance cost. And the study shows that a disproportionate share of the recent growth in homeowner cost burdens was from older adults. So this report is extremely notable for our work. Low-income homeowners and older adults are more cost burdened than ever, making it nearly impossible for them to afford repairs. This is the need that we fill. We make sure that they can access repairs from a trusted organization. Not to mention, this group is vulnerable to scams and people promising repairs, and then they take the money and they are never heard from again. And we do, unfortunately, hear about that happening from some of our homeowners. And we anticipate seeing a growing demand for our services this year alongside a reduction to our funding. Ultimately, proactively pursuing diverse funding opportunities is our number one goal as we look to 2025. Everything we're going after is to continue to operate our programs at scale and to grow. To that end, Rosie is now going to share how we are currently supported by diverse funding streams and the way we can grow with our community support.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Jake, for enforcing the importance of our program. I know those numbers that we just shared are a little daunting, but as I look to increase our private funding in my own role, one thing that encourages me is that we're not alone. We have some powerful metrics to share from our volunteers and partners out of 2024 who have set us up for success as we take on new challenges. Before we dive into our plan for what's to come, I want to celebrate the people who went above and beyond last year. None of our work would be possible without the hundreds of volunteers who gave their time. In 2024, 1,150 volunteers spent over 16,000 hours of their time on the build site or through other service, equating to a value of $541,568 in donated time to our organization, which is incredible. Additionally, our 107 Retired Senior Volunteer Program, or RSVP volunteers, earned Rebuild Upstate $76,000 in grant reimbursement funds through their volunteer efforts in Anderson County. 2024 also marked another successful year for Build Day fundraising, or projects sponsored by volunteer groups. In total, groups from businesses, churches, and friend groups raised more than $93,000 to pay for repair materials. And since 2021, volunteer groups have donated more than $300,000 to help us repair homes. When we add up the sponsored Build Day funds, plus the value of volunteer time, plus our reimbursement from the RSVP program in 2024, we see that volunteer time donated to our organization is valued at more than $600,000. Beyond volunteers, dozens of partners contribute financially to support our mission. One of those outstanding partner organizations is Grace and Peace Presbyterian Church of Greenville. And today, I'd like to take the time to honor their tremendous contributions to Rebuild Upstate by awarding them the 2024 Home Repair Champion Award. The Home Repair Champion Award is an honor our organization bestows upon a person or organization that embraces our mission and has contributed substantially to our work. In 2023, Grace and Peace's Giving Committee convened to discuss how they could best steward the generosity of their congregants. They researched, surveyed, and determined affordable housing was a top concern in their community. They saw home preservation and the work of Rebuild Upstate as a viable solution to this crisis and made a strong commitment to investing consistently in our work. Their first significant contribution to our organization couldn't have arrived at a better time. After major shifts in local and federal funding in the summer of 2023, Rebuild Upstate launched a Bridge the Gap campaign to raise critical funds to continue our work. Grace and Peace agreed to put up a $40,000 match as their first donation to our mission, encouraging other community members to donate and support our campaign. And with their help, we bridged the gap and then some. Since then, Grace and Peace has continued monthly giving, scheduled volunteer build days, and allowed us to share our mission directly to their congregants during a Sunday service. By the end of spring, they will surpass $100,000 in philanthropic giving to Rebuild Upstate. That is tremendous. We are humbled by the church's intentionality and the fast rate at which they have grown their financial support to our organization, a great feat for an organization of their size. We've had the honor of hosting the youth of Grace and Peace, which are pictured here, last summer for 2 days of various repair projects on a local home. We are so appreciative of their all-around major support. So today, please join us as we share a cheers and a congratulations with Grace and Peace Presbyterian Church, their members, leadership, and volunteers who continue to bless our community of homeowners with their generosity. And speaking of cheers, we also saw great support and success at our second annual fundraiser called A Toast to Home just 2 weeks ago. 200 attendees helped raise $68,000 for our home repair program. That equates to nearly 30 new ramps for neighbors in need. We're very grateful for the sponsors who supported our event and celebrated our program with us. We look forward to hosting this event again with even more funds raised. And in fact, we already have a date for you to save on your calendar, Friday, February 27th, 2026. We had so much interest in sponsorship and attendance this year, we're looking to expand our venue capacity, food options, and the auction selection, so you definitely don't want to miss this. We couldn't bring this event to life without the wonderful sponsors who host tables with their businesses or friend groups, so we're already reserving sponsorships and tables for those who'd like to be in the room for A Toast to Home 2026. So if you'd like to support us in this way, please reach out to me to lock in your spot for next year. As we've mentioned, we celebrate the creative and diverse ways donors interact with our program. Event support is one avenue. Our core monthly donors are another major line of support for us. Porch partners are what we call our recurring donors. We're very thankful to have doubled the number of porch partners supporting us last year. We currently have 59 contributing regularly, totaling to around $40,000 annually. So cheers to that. We recruit new porch partners regularly as this is a steady revenue we know we can count on, regardless of the current funding available from federal or state programs. Donations from our 59 porch partners alone help us build at least 16 ramps each year. Be on the lookout for an upcoming Porch Partner campaign where we'll highlight the importance of this donor group and encourage folks to help us reach 70 monthly donors by the end of the year. Who knows, our next Porch Partner may be on this call with us today. Likewise, we love our RSVP volunteers, which has remained a successful program for us. As a reminder, these folks are 55 and older volunteers who help us focus on completing repairs specifically in Anderson County, and earn Rebuild Upstate money through their volunteerism. It's truly a win-win. Here we have a photo of some of our Rockstar RSVP volunteers. Every 55 and older individual pictured has earned Rebuild Upstate up to $1,000 by volunteering in Anderson County. RSVP volunteers earned us $76,000 last fiscal year in addition to donating their labor. So this is a really critical program for us that we plan to continue to utilize as long as the program remains funded. If you or someone you know would be interested in serving as an RSVP volunteer or setting up a group RSVP build day, please reach out to us and we'd love to help set that up. So another important group for us to recognize today are our build day sponsors. These are companies and churches that fund their build days. As I mentioned earlier, they contributed almost $100,000 last year to help us repair more homes. Pictured here are Lima One employees who sponsored a ramp build in November. Lima One is a veteran-owned business, and they actually had the honor of serving a veteran for their build day. Not only did they engage in community service, but they sponsored the build, allowing us to reinvest in repairs for someone else. When organizations not only bring willing hands, but also bring funding, it helps our team streamline the repair process and serve homeowners more efficiently. We love our build day sponsors. As Jake mentioned, our team is going to be more assertive in pursuing alternative repair funds. Ramping up those sponsored build days has been happening for a few years now. I shared earlier that volunteer groups have contributed more than $250,000 for our programs. What this most commonly looks like is a group, most often a business or a church, choosing to sponsor their build day. Right now, that sponsorship starts at just $2,500. Over the last year, we saw a third of businesses who volunteered with us also brought funding to help pay for their project. That is significant. We also saw the largest project sponsorship come through from Fellowship Greenville Church with $25,000 for 10 ramp builds. So shout out to Fellowship Greenville for their support. Our program is more than just volunteer experience. It's one of the premier team building opportunities in the Upstate, as Barry mentioned earlier. Very few opportunities allow you to physically leave your mark on the community by repairing a home. It's a wonderful thing to have as a part of your community service legacy. We're also one of the only groups where you can engage in critical thinking, new skills such as learning new tools or reading plans, and teamwork all at the same time. One change headed this way in 2025 is that we'll be featuring sponsored build days and marketing that opportunity more assertively. Sponsorship isn't required to volunteer. That remains unchanged. Having such a positive response from teams who are already choosing the sponsorship opportunity, alongside the need to make sure we protect our ability to repair homes with diverse funding, makes 2025 the year to, as Jake said, be a little more aggressive. We hope that your company will help us champion this through example as we implement it. We expect to roll out the update on our website in the coming months. We'll be building a landing page for companies showing the benefits of sponsoring beyond community service, and that sets up a team member planning a service day to be successful in presenting this sponsorship back to their company. We want to be clear that while it's preferred, this is not required of our volunteer teams. A few reasons that we want to take this on. 50% of our corporate volunteers are already providing sponsorship in some capacity, whether it be for their project, for a rebuild event, or just through straight donation. We have limited funds for repairs, and we're navigating potential federal cuts, as we mentioned. Limited funds means limited opportunities for repair projects that are a good fit for corporate groups. Paying for repairs ensures we can provide the right project for a high-impact volunteer experience. We know there is high value in team building, your company's marketing goals, and morale in the service opportunity we offer. If your team would pay for a bay or two at Topgolf for team building activities, we invite you to embrace that same mentality for us. But with us, your dollars pay it forward. They help carry out our programs. We know this is a shift, but we think the time is right and the need is high. Sponsoring your build day is what takes your community service and turns it into commitment beyond just one day. That said, right now is a great time to plan a sponsored build, so please reach out to us to start that conversation. We're very likely to feature some upcoming groups on our website as we gear up to recruit more companies. So please be on the lookout for that content to learn more about this exciting opportunity to participate. And ultimately, none of our work is possible without you, our supporters, donors, volunteers, and advocates. That's why we're always seeking new ways to honor and recognize you. April is National Volunteer Month, and on Thursday, April 24th, you're invited to join us for a free dinner event, the Because of You Barbecue. This event is open to volunteers, donors, and advocates who help us throughout the year. During this event, it's our turn to serve you, and to meet other supporters. And I hope you'll join us. Again, it's a free dinner on us. We have linked the registration URL in the chat box. The event will be held at Bethesda United Methodist Church in Piedmont. So before we move on to Q&A, I want to share that the number one community engagement need in 2025 is for you to stay in touch and stay informed. We can strengthen our outreach through more introductions and more connections with individuals and businesses who wish to have a direct impact in the communities where they work and live. This is especially important as we set our sights on diversifying revenue, celebrating our partners, and advocating for those cost-burdened households in our neighborhoods. I encourage you to complete the survey we're sending out after the call and share your thoughts on how we can expand our network to support the goals we've outlined today. We shared a lot of information this morning, and I appreciate you being here to learn more with us. The information related to funding is daunting and may be overwhelming, but I do want to reiterate that even with a constantly changing landscape, Rebuild Upstate remains committed to pressing forward with gusto. We still have much to celebrate. Remember, we completed the highest number of repair projects ever last year. With our community backing us, we remain confident in our strategy for sustainability and hope that you will join us for the ride. And on that note, we are so grateful for you. Thank you for participating in our annual impact call. I hope you gained insightful information into our home repair program. And now we are ready to open up for our Q&A portion of the call for anyone who has a comment or question. Please feel free to unmute to ask your question or type it in the chat box. Jake or one of our staff members will jump in to answer. So we will open that up now. Thank you very much.
Well, if y'all are going to be easy on us and there are no questions, then I will begin closing us out. But if a question pops up, I will answer it. But just to say to all of you again, thank you for your time today on a Thursday morning. I think it's Thursday. It's been a busy week. Very grateful for all of your support. We are very excited for the work that is ahead in 2025. We've already had a great start to the first quarter, and we are looking forward to all that is ahead. But again, we can't do any of this without your support, your partnership with us. And so we look forward to that continuing in the year ahead. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. And we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.